Alright everybody, so welcome back to Riahs tie-dye. I figured, I know, we have to do a sodium alginate video. We're working on that. However, because I think our face masks have been very popular, we're gonna do 4 more. So these are from Amazon. They are, right on the tag, it says 60% cotton, 40% polyester, and the lining is polypropylene. So these will dye. We have done it before. So I do have, these are the oversized ones, but a lot of people seem to like the oversized ones. So we're gonna do them anyways. So we're gonna do a couple sort of the same things, but way better. So we're going to be doing some really cool ones. I'm even going to do a mandala with hemostats on one. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So just a reminder, if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so, because we have lots of cool videos coming up, and we will keep making really cool videos until the end of time. So just subscribe real quick. And you have time for the comment shout out. So if you don't know what that is, just comment down below anything that you want to see me tie-dye. And you have all this week to do so. We will pick a winner next week, and we will shout out your name and your suggestion. And then the week after, we will do that video for you and everybody else who wants to watch it. So also do that. So let's get started. Alright, you guys, so we have 4 face masks we're gonna do. So we're gonna do Scrunch on the first one because it's easy, and we'll get that one out of the way. So we're just gonna, you can't really flatten it all the way. This part sticks up in the middle. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna start in the middle and just scrunch everything together. And you can make it thick or thin or whatever you want to do. Really easy. This one is going to be an ice dye one, because I think if we try to do rainbow ice dye on this, it's going to turn out super duper cool, and that's what I really want to do. So we're going to do that. Some of this is going to come undone while you're rubber banding it, but just rubber band it, or you can use Kite String if you want. I don't recommend Sinew for a scrunch because you really don't want the white lines in it. But you can use Kite String, which I have done before. You can get it super tight with that. So there's that. If you don't like something sticking out, just put more rubber bands on. Alright, so there is our little scrunched face mask. So that lining earlier that I showed you, that will not be dyed at all. So that will stay white, and everything that gets color on it will wash right out. This is 60% cotton and 40% polyester, so it is going to take the dye, and it is going to be bright. I have done it. That's actually what the last video was. They were 60-40, and they held the dye up really well. So the only other thing is that I have no idea what the straps are, but they do seem to hold dye, just not all of it. So some of it's going to have dye on it, some of it's not. So I'm not sure whether that's what you want or not, but if you don't, you'll just have to try to tie it in a way that your straps are in there. However, I do not care. I think that looks cool, and you can tell they're hand dyed. So there's this. I'm actually gonna put one more on this side because it's a big gap. Then we have another one. This one, we are gonna actually do a swirl with a hemostat, and I have a hemostat right here. This is a straight hemostat, so there's no curve in it. Hold it down like this. No curve in it, so it's a lockable hemostat. you don't have these, they're down in my description below, so you can check that out. It'll take you right where to go to get them. So this is, we're gonna do an ice dye swirl for this, and we're going to kind of flatten this nose part out a little bit, because then we can get a good pinch. So find the middle of your mask, or you can even do it off-centered if you don't want to do that, but then clamp your hemostat in there and lock it in place. And then we are just going to hold down the fabric and start twisting. So this is actually going to be easier than using your fingers like we did last time. And you can sort of control your pleats a little bit. So these masks are not the best fabric in the world to work with, especially with the lining. The lining makes it super slippery, so your swirl's not going to stay like a shirt would if it was damp. So these are damp, by the way. They were soaked in soda ash and spun out in the washer. And that's it. I did not rinse any of the soda ash out because you want that for your dye. It is a dye fixative that you need for your dye to work. If you're using a Tulip one-step kit, however, that already has the soda ash in it, so you don't need to do that. But if you're using Procyon dyes, you definitely want soda ash to soak your items with. I'm not taking my hemostat out. I'm going to leave it in there because it will either not come out or my fold will come out as soon as I pull the hemostat. So we don't want that. So we're going to rubber band this guy. So I might, let's see, I'm just going to see what I can do here. So the way I'm doing this is I opened it up, I unlocked it and opened it up, and now I'm rocking it back and forth. There we go, we got it out. Now we can freely put our rubber bands on there. Okay, so that is our Hemostat Swirl. That looks pretty good. So this one's going to be an ice dye, and we're going to do 2 colors on this. So we'll split right down the middle, 1 color and 1 color on this. All right, and then we're going to try the X pattern on this one. It's going to look kind of weird, but I think it'll work. So I have this face mask that I'm going to fold in half. So fold that in half. This one is going to be a little, not really hard, but harder than a swirl, I guess, because of the lining. The lining makes this so slippery. So then you're going to fold it again. So let me just show you real quick too. This is actually the nose part. So this is where your nose is going to go. You can just tell because it's kind of deeper than the bottom part. So that's the top, if you needed to know that. So we're going to fold this in half again. And then we kind of want an X, but we want it to fit with the mask. So if you want, you could take a washable marker and you can draw from the very center of your mask where it's folded twice, and then the outside of your mask, so you can draw a line there. So then you're going to just pleat fold along that line if you can. Like I said, the lining of the mask is a little slippery to work with, so you'll feel it sliding around in there when you're pleat folding this. And I hate it, but that's the masks we got to work with. Okay, so now my line is matched up. So what we're going to do now is we are going to take kite string, no rubber bands this time because I want this one to be tighter. And we're going to go right over our marker line and hold the side closest to you with your thumb. Swing it under and around, pull a little bit. Grab it with your thumb again. Pull a little bit tighter. And we're just going to kite string the whole thing so that it is tight and not going to fall apart when you go to dye it. I'm literally just wrapping this as many times as I can wrap it because I think the tighter it is, the cooler it's going to look, and I like the X pattern anyway. I think the X pattern looks super cool. So if we can get some good colors in there and make it the way we want it, we will have our awesome DIY tie-dye face mask. Part 2, of course. Alright, so I think that's actually really good. It doesn't have to be perfect. We'll cut that. And we're going to tie it to this very first kite string line. Double knot. Sorry, this kite string doesn't like my fingers, so every time I try to tie it like I normally would, it slips right away from me. So, and then I'm going to cut the excess off so it's not in the way when I'm dyeing it. And then we have one more cool mask. So before we do that though, I'm going to show you. So that line right here is going to be your center part of your X. So when you dye it, if you use liquid dye, you're going to put what color you want in the center of your X or for your main X right here. And then whatever colors you want around your X, you're going to go on the outsides of that. So the main X, remember, is your marker line, and then anything around it is going to be everything else. So that's that. And then we're going to do our mandala with hemostats for this next one. So for this one, I have 5 curved hemostats, and I'll show you the difference. So this one has a curved end on it. This one has a straight end on it. We're just using the curved one because this is actually going to make the mandala look cool, like flower petals. So also, just so you know, the use of a hemostat is to, for the swirl, clearly if you use a hemostat, you're going to get your swirl really tight, which is cool. But for mandala purposes, this actually gives you white lines without using the sinew. So if you want a curved white line, but a really tiny one because you're doing a face mask, these would be perfect. So I believe these are down in my description below. Also, so if you want these, you can go down there and get those. But I have 5. We're going to try to use all of them. So for this mask, it is going to be a mandala, so we're going to try to do it like we did the last one. So it's folded in half, and then you're going to fold it in half again. And then this is the center of the mask, and this is the outside and the bottom, or the top and the bottom of the mask. So we're going to fold this back and fold it back again. And then we're going to flip this side over, fold it back like a triangle, do it again. So if it's too thick and your hemostats aren't going to work, you can get bigger hemostats if you want, thicker, bigger, more room in them. But we're going to try this. So you would do like a normal mandala. You can draw them if you want to, but I'm not going to. So if you look, it's going to look like I'm cutting it, but I'm not. And then you hold down until it locks in place. And now your hemostat is holding on to that. So then your next one, you hold on to that. You want the next one to curve down just like that one did. So you're gonna unlock that one. If I can get it. I'm not left-handed, so I'm sorry. So this one, make sure you got all your folds in there, but line it up with the edge on the other one if you can. And lock it. That one was a little thicker, so now you can see we're gonna have a couple of petals in there. And I have 3 more, so I'm just gonna try to get them all in there. Okay, so that is what it looks like. So when we open this up, there should be white lines and a really super duper pretty mandala in there. So I believe I am going to be doing ice dye for every one of these masks. If I don't, clearly I'm going to tell you. So you're going to see me do it. So here's our awesome face mask. We have a mandala. Sorry, let me put that in the spot. See it. We have a swirl, a scrunch, and our X pattern. Now, I love ice dye, so I think you guys know I'm going to do what I can to ice dye it. So we are going to get our dye and make sure you wear gloves. If you need gloves, those are in my description box below, just like everything else I use, just so you know. And let's get to it. Alright, so we have our swirl right here, which is hot pink and lemon yellow. This is our scrunch. This is lime pop green and emerald green. This is our X pattern. We have a red violet in the middle for the X, and then on the very outside we have robin's egg blue, and we left a little bit of white in there. And then for our mandala, I know gray splits when you do ice dye, so it'll probably have different weird colors coming out of it, but we want to try it, so we have red, gray, red, gray, red. And then I'm thinking that it'd be really cool if the red bled into the white some, so hopefully that happens and we can see what that looks like. So these are, we're going to put ice on these. They're going to sit for 24 hours. They're going to get rinsed. And just so we can keep the white in whatever has white in it, we are going to soak in the sink with hot water and hot Dawn dish liquid. Suds it up some with your hands one at a time, and we will soak it one time and then rinse it out a little bit and then soak it one more time before it goes in the wash. And after you do that 2 times to each mask, you can actually wash it in the same washing machine cycle with Centerpol if you have it. If you don't, I have a link in the description box below for that. And then once you have that washed, you will be ready to wear it after it dries. But after we put the ice on, like I said, it's going to sit for 24 hours and then we could do a reveal. Alright guys, we're doing our reveal. So I rinsed all of these in cold water until the water ran clear, and I am ready to open them up. So I'm going to do the scrunch first, because a lot of you probably already know how to do a scrunch and you've seen a million of them probably. So this one had Lime Pop green and emerald green, and ooh, that's awesome. Yeah, I really like that. So that you can tell there's some Lime Pop in there, and the emerald, there's some dark spots. That's what I wanted. So that one looks cute, and I love green. The next one I'm gonna do, I think, is the swirl. So we'll do that because it's rubber bands. And the last Ice Dye Swirl mask I did turned out really, really good. So I think this one's gonna look good too. So this was yellow and hot pink. Oh yeah, that turned out really good. Look at that. So I did get some orange in there, which I really wanted. Hot pink and lemon yellow. Super good. And as you can see, this one had gray and red when I dyed it. So it must be the gray splits with red when you ice dye it, because it's almost all red. So we're just gonna do this one because I'm kind of nervous about it. But it does have the Hemostats on it, so it might have the white lines I wanted. Who knows? It was kind of a gamble anyways, but hopefully this turns out really good. So you just gotta take all these off. We didn't use any Kite String, Sinew, or anything. So this was just held by Hemostats. So I have no idea if it's gonna turn out good or not at all. Oh, you got some white lines in there. It's not exactly what I wanted, so I'm not saying it's a really good one, but then again, this could look different after I wash it out. So what I am going to do with all of these masks, one at a time, I'm going to put them in hot water and Dawn dish soap in the sink and let them soak for about a half hour, and then change the water, do it one more time before I wash them, and then I can wash them all together. So for now, I'm not positive about this one, but in the thumbnail, you will see what it looks like washed and dried. So that is what it technically looks like after that. So not my favorite, but it would have been probably cooler if I used something other than gray maybe. So this one is the X pattern. I'm also nervous about this one. It was supposed to leave some white in there, but who knows? So we're just gonna try it. Oh yeah, that looks awesome, you guys. That looks so good. This one is Robin's Egg Blue, and oh my gosh, what purple did I use? I think I used Concord Grape. Didn't I say that? Sorry, I have no idea, but it turned out really, really good. So we have an X pattern mask. Looks pretty awesome. So, like I said, these ones we're going to do one at a time. I'm going to soak them in the Dawn dish soap with hot water. It'll help get the excess dye out of them. So if there was white, like in this one, that you want to save white and you don't want it to grab any of the color when you put it in the wash, that'll help. And if you want to wash all 4 of these at once, it'll help, because then you can save water and not have to do 4 different washes just for one little tiny mask. So I am super happy the way these turned out. I actually think these ones turned out a little bit better than my last mask video. This one I am hoping the lines will actually look a lot better after I soak it and wash it. So like I said in the thumbnail, that's what they look like washed and dried. So yeah, and then after you soak them and you wash them all at once, make sure you're doing hot water with cold water rinses in the washing machine with Synthepol if you have it. If you don't, I have it in my links below. And then I normally air dry mine. I don't put them in the dryer. it's not as fast, obviously, but I feel like I don't really know the science behind the drying. Some people do it and don't have a problem. Some people do it and it fades their colors. So I like to play it safe when it comes to that, and I just hang dry mine. So that was a really cool reveal. I hope you guys like it. I think this one is my favorite, and that one's probably my second favorite. So these two are my faves. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. You still have this whole week to do the comment shout out. Make sure you comment something down below that you want to see, and then next week we will shout out your name and your suggestion, and then we will do a video for that the week after. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you for supporting my channel, and I hope to see you next time.